Space is limited, paper's not. Big energy in it. Pixelgod+SQUAD. Chaos. Pixelgod+SQUAD.
Good morning. I'm back again. It's good to see you, my friends. Alright. I'm gonna need some of y'all to get me up to speed on what's the deal with this Lindsay Clancy case. I mean, why are so many people going so hard and so out of their way for a woman who admittedly confessed to unaliving her 3 children? I don't understand it. So we're going to jump into a couple of these videos and hopefully they will enlighten me because, yeah, man, I don't get it.
Day 16. Yesterday, the prosecution rested, and today, defense has continued calling its witnesses. This heartbreaking case involves 3 young children. Cora, who was 5, Dawson, who was 3, and Callan, who was only 8 months old. Lindsay is a 35-year-old nurse from Duxbury, Massachusetts, who was always known as a loving, wonderful mother. Unfortunately, she suffered with extreme mental health issues due to postpartum after she had her 3rd child, Callan. In the months leading up to that tragic night on January 24th, 2023, Lindsay had been doing everything she possibly could to get help for her increasing postpartum symptoms. She was suffering insomnia, depression, extreme anxiety.
She was doing everything? I don't know. That's a bit of a leap. I don't know. But I'll let her finish.
Her husband Patrick was trying to do what he could, but neither of them were getting the help that she so desperately needed. She even checked herself into a psychiatric facility. Patrick was married to Lindsay, and he's the father of those 3 beautiful children. Patrick and Lindsay are now divorced, and in May of 2023, Patrick packed up his whole life and moved to New York to start over. After about a year of living there, he met his current wife, Rachel. They dated for 2 years, and they just got married this past April in 2026, and they do not have any children. On the evening of January 24th, 2023, Patrick left his home for a little under an hour and went to pick out takeout food for he and Lindsay. He also stopped at a pharmacy to pick up something for the kids, and when he got home, he found Lindsay laying on the ground outside. She had tried to take her own life. He called 911, and when he entered the home, he found his 3 young children deceased in the basement. Lindsay had sent Patrick out of the home and has now claimed that she heard voices that night telling her to do what she ended up doing. She used exercise bands to strangle her 3 young kids, and once that was done, she went upstairs and tried to take her own life. She slit her wrists, her throat, crushed up pills and took them, and then jumped out the 2nd floor window. Lindsay is now paralyzed from the waist down and in a wheelchair for the rest of her life. Lindsay was charged with 3 counts of murder and pled not guilty. Lindsay has admitted to taking the lives of her 3 young children with exercise bands, but instead, this case is now focusing on intent and culpability. The prosecution in this case is arguing that Lindsay did this with intent, that it was malicious and premeditated. The defense is basically using an insanity defense. They're arguing that Lindsay is not criminally responsible for this because of postpartum psychosis that she was experiencing, an undiagnosed condition of bipolar, and they believe that...
Alright, I'm going to go ahead and stop it right there. So from what I'm hearing, and they said that she wasn't suffering from psychosis. So that's the whole problem. You declaring that you're suffering from psychosis and then the doctor is saying that you're not. That's pretty significant. That's something that you cannot ignore. So I don't get what it is. Quite frankly, I just think it's a gross lack of accountability because I don't know, man. I understand that some people suffer from postpartum and it's a difficult thing to go through. However, there has to be some level of accountability, whether you're deemed mentally fit or unfit. I mean, something has to be done. She just can't go about living a regular life when she just, I don't know. There's just something about doing it with her own hands that bothers me. Like, I can't get beyond that. A mother doing that to 3 little babies. I'm pretty sure they say that they love her almost all the time. That's what my babies used to do. So, man, that's unimaginable. I can't even
The Lindsay Clancy
wrap my head
has
around.
grabbed the attention of millions on social media. She is accused of murder and the deaths of her 3 children. Her defense says she's not responsible because she was in the midst of a psychotic episode stemming from postpartum mental illness. Armchair sleuths might be wondering how Patrick Clancy was almost immediately ruled out as a suspect in the deaths of his children. Well, let's break it all down. First off, Lindsay Clancy has admitted to the killings of her children from the very start of this case. The defense is not arguing that Lindsay didn't kill the children, but rather whether she was criminally responsible because she was suffering from postpartum psychosis and extreme mental illness. Now here's what Patrick testified happened the night of the killings. He left the house around 5:15 p.m. to go to the CVS and then a restaurant to pick up takeout. As he leaves the house, he sees his son Dawson eating a meal on the couch and not in the basement. That's where Dawson and his siblings' bodies were later found.
When you were leaving the home on the night of January 24th, 2023, your observations of Lindsay and the children, do you recall that?
Yes.
And you had testified that you observed Dawson on the couch eating, I believe you said chicken nuggets and green beans, is that correct?
Yeah.
At 5:24, he sends an email, and he was asked on the stand about where he was when he sent it.
And you were asked about it coming from the Surface Pro, but your testimony was that it could have come from your iPhone, correct?
Correct.
You were clearly out of the house at 5:24 p.m., correct?
Sorry, what time did you say I was at CVS?
So you walked in at 5:32 p.m., correct?
Correct.
At 5:32, surveillance footage and phone records put him at the CVS. 22 minutes later, 5:54, he is seen picking up a takeout dinner. And at 6:09, just under an hour later, he returns home and says he found Lindsay unresponsive, lying on the ground outside of their house.
When you unlocked the door to your bedroom, did you go in?
Yeah.
And what did you see when you opened the door and went in?
I just saw blood everywhere, and the window was open.
To summarize, Lindsay admits to killing the children, and the evidence shows Patrick was not at home when prosecutors believe the killings occurred. CNN has reached out to Patrick's attorneys.
This is wild.
There's no way Lindsay Clancy's body temperature was 82 degrees if she was only out there for 30 minutes. There's no way that those wounds were self-inflicted because she was a nurse. She did it in the wrong direction. She was right-handed. Her thyroid was crushed. No way she threw herself out the window. Somebody else must have done it. These are the 3 main topics I've been seeing people using to back up their conspiracy claims that Lindsay Clancy did not commit the murders, that she did not do this to herself. Today, the defense's forensic pathologist, Dr. Elizabeth Laposada, addressed the injuries, the hypothermia, and the thyroid damage. She testified that Lindsay went through the second-story window headfirst in what she described as a free-fall dive. That impact created a Jefferson fracture, which is a bursting fracture commonly associated with someone diving headfirst into the bottom of a pool. Laposada said that the force traveled through Lindsay's head and down her entire spinal column, causing multiple fractures, catastrophic damage around T5 and T6, spinal cord damage that left her paralyzed, a broken rib, internal bleeding, and injuries to her thyroid and vocal cords. The prosecution, they tried to push back on this, saying that she had no skull fracture or brain bleed. Because remember, the prosecution is trying to say that this was a fake attempt. They are not saying that Lindsay didn't do this to herself, just that she wasn't intending to die. But again, the expert explained exactly why she didn't have any damage to the top of her head. She said that the force was transmitted through the head and into the spine instead of fracturing the skull.
She was never supposed to survive. She was never supposed to motherfucking survive, okay? I'm following the Lindsay Clancy case. I'm following it very, very, very close to this. This is not motherfucking right. Okay? And now that I think her husband, Patrick Clancy, aka Chris Watts. Okay, aka Chris Watts, I think he did it. Now here is, listen, I wrote it down. Here is all of my fucking notes that I gathered that lead me to believe this man did it, and if the judge and the defense can't see this, I just don't know. So here's all my evidence in no particular order. Starting off with the first thing I got. She wasn't supposed to survive. She was never supposed to motherfucking survive. This is supposed to be a clean sweep for my boy. Okay? And then, next thing. Her core body temperature was 82 degrees. 82 degrees. Not even dead bodies get down to 82 degrees in 55 minutes. Okay? And this is coming from all the doctors and shit on TikTok. Not even a dead body gets down to 82 degrees in 55 minutes. Okay, moving right along. The doctor that came up there and was testifying, bitch. Horrible bitch. And I really think that
What?
you need to be investigated into your life. You need to be hooked up some shit like that. Dr. McDonough, okay, she's a loser ass bitch. Okay, she's on the stand acting like she don't motherfucking know shit. I don't know when this happened. I can't remember. The fucking Kevin Reddington, he flat out asked her, this is a fucking murder trial. You ain't read the notes? You didn't look at the fucking notes? You don't know shit. You're looking dumb. You're making me make you look dumb. Okay? Anyway, moving right along. Her thyroid was crushed. And her thyroid was crushed. So how was the thyroid crushed? But she on the phone telling Chris about the laxatives. Okay? Now let's move right along. Speaking of the laxatives, Patrick, he says that when he was in CPS, he called Lindsay back to ask her if he can get the generic brand of the little baby laxatives because they was out. He thought it was made on stock. It was COVID. Mind you, we got pictures and video. They look fully fucking stock to me. Anyway, swinging right along. So he says on the phone, she tell him that the off-brand, the generic baby laxative is cool. Get that. Mind you, at CVS, the generic off-brand of the laxative that they wanted to get is green. If you look at the evidence pictures and they show the CVS bag with the plates on top of it, mind you, we'll get to that later. The CVS bag with the plates on top of it, you can see inside that CVS bag, it's the name brand laxative. It's the...
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
No way, they're having a support rally for Lindsay, the woman who took the life of her 3 kids. Not saying she's innocent, they're saying they understand why she did it. That postpartum was the cause and that she deserves more help.
This committee was in one place at one time who may understand all of us on a level that others don't.
On a level that others don't understand, you're having a rally about how y'all all thought about getting rid of your kids. That's not it. Whoa, where the cops? Where the police at, man?
Thank you.
Mind you, again, they're not out there because they think she's innocent. They're literally saying she only did.
Pause. Did you notice how everybody's wearing pink? Like, it's breast cancer awareness? I'm just saying.
Nobody helped her.
First thing I noticed.
That her husband should have took her mental illness seriously. So when do the cops come in? Because you have a mass group of women outside the courtroom admitting that they also have ideas of doing things to their kids. And
that part.
There's no, like, what, bro? There's no way to block. No one can go to jail.
Now that the defense in the Lindsay Clancy trial has presented their entire case.
So that's the part that I have a problem with. What's going to be done about this army of women who sympathize and can understand with someone, unaliving all of their children? Like, no, I don't want to be around any woman like that, especially if I have kids with her. This is too far, man. Y'all go too far sometimes.
Footage. Let's go through what we know about the timeline of January 24th, 2023. At 4:02 p.m., Lindsay searches on her phone for children's Miralax. She searched on her phone at 4:10 for takeout at 3V and then looked at directions from her home to the restaurant. At 4:48, she called CVS asking about if they had Miralax. At 5:03 p.m., her phone showed that she climbed a flight of stairs. She called 3V to place a takeout order at 5:10 p.m. And then at 5:15 p.m., Patrick left the house. At 5:23, Lindsay's Apple Watch recorded a 57 beat per minute heart rate. And that was the last heart rate that was recorded. At 5:24 p.m., Patrick sent a work email. Patrick was at CVS at 5:33 p.m. and we know the CVS is about a 2 to 3 minute drive from the Clancy house. While there, he called Lindsay at 5:33 because he couldn't find the exact medication and she didn't answer. She called back at 5:34 and the phone call lasted 14 seconds. And then Patrick left CVS at 5:37 p.m. And at 5:38 p.m., Lindsay's phone and her watch go dark. At 5:54 p.m., Patrick entered 3B to pick up the takeout order and then drove home, a trip he estimated took 10 to 12 minutes. He got home at 6:09 p.m., put the bags on the counter, and the house was quiet. He called Lindsay, and she didn't answer. He said at that point he looked around the house, found the locked master bedroom, got the key, went inside, saw the blood, then ran outside, found Lindsay, and called 911 at 6:11 p.m. So Lindsay's watch last recorded her heartbeat at 5:23, and Patrick got home at 6:09. So that's about 46 minutes from when her heartbeat was last recorded to when Patrick got home. And her phone last recorded data at 5:38 p.m. So that's 31 minutes from that.
All right. So there you have it, man. That's what Twitter is saying. And I'm sitting here trying to understand. I'm genuinely trying to understand their perspective, because even if it was psychosis, I still wouldn't agree with letting this lady walk for anything, right? And I don't understand all the overwhelming support. Like, there's so much support for this lady, it's insane. Let me know what you think, because this is one of the weirdest cases I've ever seen. Like, I've never seen so many people blame the dad. Like, I think they're forgetting that this man lost his babies, right? So that alone that's hard to deal with. And to lose your babies and then have to go through this over and over again, that's a lot, man. I couldn't imagine how he feels. But shout out to the husband. He's gonna have to stay strong, because I don't think they're gonna let this go even after the trial is over. Like, they're still going to try to make him, I guess, the bad guy in this, even though she admitted that she did it. So yeah, we're on Earth 2, I guess, and this is how things happen, how things move in a new reality. But let me know what you think. Can't wrap my head around it. It's too weird. This doesn't make sense to me. Something that should be open and shut is not so open and shut. I don't get it. But like I said, that's it. That's my 2 cents. That's what I think. If you have a perspective, you can shed some light on it for me. Help me understand better what's going on with this lady, why she shouldn't be in prison for life. I don't know, man. Break it down in the comments. And yeah, let me know what you think.
You know what time it is?
Alright, until the
Discord
next
time.
one, that's going to do it for this one. I'm Pix. I'm out.